Prabhupada also emphasized our prasad distribution program. Every Sunday we would feed people at the temple, but because of the so-called scarcity, the government had passed a law that a person or organization could not serve grains to more than 20 people at a time. The intent was to restrict the lavish functions of the rich so that a few wealthy people would not be able to spend huge amounts on grand feasts and celebrations while the poor people were suffering for want of grains.
Hmm.
We, being charitable in nature, were feeding people rice and dal and khichdi on Sundays. So, although we were aware of the law, we never thought much about it. Mhatre, however, arranged for the police to come one evening during our Sunday prasad distribution to arrest us on the grounds that we had violated the limits.
See, this is so envious, this Matre. Even though his boss or whoever that Nair died, this Matre is still there. So the thing is, it's a very interesting thing how people perceive it. Huh? Actually, when you do feasts, um, when you do the feasts and all, it is actually very efficient, isn't it? We are we save money, we save a lot of energy. If individually people have to cook, how much? During recession, we knew how it worked, right? Everybody inadvertently followed our way of feast, coming together, gathering together, and eating. So these rascals, they don't know that it's actually not just opulence. It's an efficient way of doing things, isn't it? In our temples, we are able to do so much feast because we are cooking in bulk, and many people can come together and eat. So there is not so much of this thing again and again. So much of energy being wasted in that. It's very difficult to make these people understand. You see, and on top of it, he is so envious that he still wants to arrest our people. Can we imagine? When you try to do good to the people by distributing free prasadam, and for that you are being arrested. Can Kali Yuga be any worse than this? At least at that age, even now it is even more. It's so painful to even see how much effort the devotees would have taken to cook prasadam and bring it all the way and do free distribution, right? And with so less facilities, the temple was also not there. The temple was not there. No facilities were there. Hmm? See, it's really interesting. We'll read further.
Bhagavad
Mataji, Kamaladi Mataji, we are on page number 286.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
sorry, Prabhu, like it seems like Matre was like somehow or other he wanted to find some fault, like.
Yeah, envious people, they can do anything they want.
Somehow or other find fault.
Sometimes it's a very tricky situation, Prabhu. See, not all envious people you can make them understand. You see, some people, that is where the thing is, you need to identify who will listen and understand, and or they will give up their envy. That envy may be due to incomplete information or incorrect information also, right? Sometimes what happens is people will have wrong information through some media or through some newspaper magazine or some TV channel, whatever, and then they will create an impression about that person based on those false information, right? So that is how the propaganda happens. So such people, when they come to see the good activities of those people, they will be able to give up their envy. That is some the envy based on incorrect or false information. But this Matre kind of people, they are knowingly they are envious. Knowingly they are envious. So these people would just want to see you suffering. You just cannot make these people understand. It's as simple as that. You just cannot make these people. You don't waste your time trying to make them understand. Such people, you either ignore them, just neglect them. They want you to see suffer. They want you to become angry. They want you to just leave them. Or for some people, you just have to show your anger, like Prabhupada showed his anger many times to make people understand that devotees are not just pushovers. You see, many times you will see, if you see sometimes even very senior Vaishnavas, they have to show what is the real thing. For that, they will just they can fire them. Then people will understand. Otherwise, simply they will just sit on your head and do it. So you have to identify the kind of people who almost whoever sees you opulent, they will become envious. But it can be based on wrong information. You can maybe give them the right information when the time comes. Don't be don't get agitated to somehow or other hanker don't be restless to give them that information. No, only when Krishna arranges, we have to give it. Or they may even observe what we are doing, and slowly they will become your heart will change. But these Matre kind of people, for how long he is giving? That's why Prabhupada is going to speak very, is there some nice points here. So let's read further.
Bhagavad
Very
Das
important. Yes, Prabhuji?
No, I'm just reading, continuing.
Please continue.
Bhagavad Das was in charge of the distribution. Bhagwan and I were also present, but we all decided that it would be more threatening to our work if Bhagwan or I was arrested. The police were demanding someone, so Bhagwat said he was in charge of the program, and they arrested him and took him away, though we were able to get him out on bail within a day or two.
See, what wrong did Bhagavad Prabhu did? He voluntarily think that he voluntarily offered to go and sit in the jail for no reason, but distributing books. Distributing Bhagavad Gita books, if people are going to that too in India. If I can understand if it's Russia or China or somewhere like that. So this is Kali Yuga at its peak.
On his morning walk, the day after Bhagwat's arrest, Prabhupada was considering how Matre, just one man, could do so much damage. It might have been coming from the communists, he suggested, because Prime Minister Indira Gandhi or the Indian government was in close touch with the Russian government. And we were presenting the only combination that could defeat communism, spiritual enlightenment and Krishna Prasad. It was possible that the Russian leaders may have mentioned something to Mrs. Gandhi about the threat from ISKCON. While we were trying to deal with the police commissioner, some friends suggested that we approach the additional police commissioner, Mr. Jog, who was supposed to be more friendly and accessible. Mr. Walia and Mr. Bakshi said that they knew the additional commissioner and that he would help us. As a rule, when whatever new information we got, we would present to Prabhupada and he would weigh it all and then guide the strategy. He agreed that we should meet Mr. Jog and appeal to him to help us. Then came the question of who should go. Prabhupada said that Bhagwan and I should go. I suggested adding Lokanath since he was a Maharashtrian and most of the officers were Maharashtrian with a strong ethnic identity. At first, Prabhupada said that there was not a good number. Three. At first, Prabhupada said 3 was not a good number, that it should either be 2 or 4. But when we could not think of a 4th person who could actually help our presentation, he agreed to the 3 of us. So we went and met Mr. Jog and he was very friendly but evasive. He did not commit to anything.
This is up to this point. Is stopping here, but I think Maharaj will continue linking it with the Bhagavatam class sloka. So any thoughts before we move on here?
Only thing, Prabhupada, sorry to interrupt, about the numbers, like Prabhupada, he said it should be either 2 or 4.
Yeah, this is something which normally they do. I don't know about other places, but definitely I have heard 3 people should not go. If you have to go, you should go either 2 or 4 or whatever that. So I don't know the
sometimes-
logic
sorry.
behind it, but it
Yeah.
seems like a little bit inauspicious if that happens.
No, even sorry
Yes,
to
sir.
interrupt, Prabhu, but in serving prashadam also they're saying, like if you're serving chapatis, also serve 2 or 4. Don't serve 1 or 3.
Oh, is it? Oh, interesting.
Yes, Prabhu.
Idli, chapati and all. Huh? Interesting. I don't know what might be the reason.
Should I continue?
Anyway,
Yeah.
so if suppose a couple, husband and wife, have one child, how will they do? They will go 3 only. No?
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Perunde Mata just telling something.
First they will go and after some time only they will another person will join.
Okay, you mean they leave the home. While leaving the home, you should not go 3.
Yes. Here Tamil Nadu they are like that.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, this is Prabhupada is Bengali. So
Even
he's-
we in our this thing we believe like that, Prabhu. 3 people don't go.
there might
it
be some
was-
reason. There might be some
there's some
scriptural reason behind that.
Yeah, we should find out what is that.
What is that? Yes, we'll ask somebody. There might be somewhere it might. Okay, so that's nice. So this is something which is very intriguing. When we go out for preaching and all, we have to face so many inauspicious, obnoxious people, and it is really disturbing. And for us to switch on, switch off is very. We have to be very smart in it. Otherwise, we won't be able to enjoy devotional service at all. That's what Prabhupada does. When he has to be very strict, very hard, he will be like that. And the next moment he will become soft like a rose. That's I have seen my Guru Maharaj do that also a few times. I couldn't believe what they were doing. They were really, because these angers are all from the transcendental platform. We cannot imitate them. But when they do it, when they are angry, when they are upset, when they are firing somebody, it will just go off as soon as the thing is over. The communication is done. Very interesting. So Prabhupada has to wade through so many people, still so much for challenge. The land, to get the land itself, they have to face so much challenge. On top of it, now during service also, these people are simply just trying to show that who is the boss. And now you see, where is that Matre? I don't know. When he died, how many people came also. Now nobody will remember him, except for the wrong reasons. And Prabhupada, you see, because of his purity, all over the world he is worshipped. That's a difference between a Krishna devotee and a demon. Okay, let's go. Anyone else want to take over from here?
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Please, Mataji, we were waiting for you to come and join us.
Hare Krishna. I went on a Indonesia yatra along with our Guru Maharaj for Gita Nagari Baru Silver Jubilee celebrations.
Oh, okay. That's nice, really.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Great. So let's continue with it.
Every morning in the temple, Prabhupada would speak on Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.
That is
In
the
one
glories of devotional service. That chapter Prabhupada covered in that entire stay in Bombay. He was speaking on all the important verses: Satam Prasangan, Titikshava, Karunika, then Sadhu Bhushana, and Asangam Prasharam, Ajaram Pasam, and all those verses.
In one talk, he spoke about our situation in relation to a verse describing the qualities and behavior of a sadhu. Titikshava, Karunika, Suhruda, Sarvadehina, Ajata, Shatravaha, Shanta, Sadhavaha, Sadhu Bhushanaha. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. 3.25.21. Although Prabhupada himself perfectly exemplified the words, he related it to the devotees in Juhu. Here, all the boys and girls, the devotees, they are concerned with Radha Krishna. That's all. Their whole business day and night is Radha Krishna. From early morning 3 o'clock to night 10 o'clock, their only business is Radha Krishna. That is all. Therefore, they are sadhu. And so many
So amazing,
people are
huh?
so amazing.
How wide-hearted Prabhupada is. He doesn't tell anything about himself or others. Hmm? That's why Maharaj has added this line. It's a very nice line. Although Prabhupada himself perfectly exemplified the verse, he related it to the devotees in Juhu. Amazing. That's how
about
Maharaj. That's
Prabhupada,
why we need someone like who is connected and who has realized that situation. That Prabhupada, in that class, he would have been sitting and be thinking that Prabhupada, you personify all these qualities, and why you are unnecessarily glorifying others. We are not even nowhere near there. But that is Prabhupada's greatness. So many times you would see when you go for Rath Yatra, Vyas Puja, some other functions in Rajkot to meet or Maharaj. In the class, first 10-15 minutes he will be glorifying each of the devotees who come with their visiting from all over the world. Devotees will come. So we will talk about each one of those devotees and their good qualities, whatever they are doing nicely, and both in devotional service, even outside the devotional service also. First 15-20 minutes will be just to glorification. In Vyasa Puja also, every time some devotee comes and speaks, Maharaj will be glorifying that devotee more than what the devotee was glorifying Maharaj. So this is the true nature, real nature of pure devotees, And Prabhupada is exemplifying that here. Beautiful. Please continue, Mata.
and so many people are criticizing. We are not getting the sanction to build because we have so many enemies. They say we are creating a nuisance. We are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and that is a nuisance. This complaint is going to the police, so that is very difficult.
So this is where
Will-
Prabhupada is connecting that Matre and others and this. See, just imagine, we are right now in a position where we are much more established, in the sense people know what is ISKCON, that Prabhupada is there, they have a philosophy, they distribute Bhagavad Gita everywhere, etc., etc. But in the formative days, first of all, you have to convince that what I'm doing is right, and then you have to explain about the philosophy. Now you don't have to go and convince people that I am doing this is a nice thing, that all those things. You just go directly and see, do you have Bhagavad Gita, and you're just giving. Nowadays, frankly speaking, for us, book distribution is much way more easier than those days. And first of all, the stock should be available. That itself is a big difficulty. Not like these days, we can easily we have much more courier options or shipping options, whatever it is. How they were doing it, distributing it all over the world to all the temples, printing it. This is really humongous job, mind-boggling. And in the middle of all these things, they are those days not many devotees were there, and even in that set also, some are being taken away by policemen, this, that, and all. So Prabhupada must be really tolerating so much. That's why he is Titikshava. Karunika, Suhrida, every verse, every quality here listed, they are all, so full, overflowing in Prabhupada's, in Prabhupada's personality. We can talk for hours together about it. Okay, let's continue. Prabhupada is going to speak about this more.
Filled with emotion, Prabhupada explained. Therefore, the sadhu is advised, Sikshava, tolerate all this nonsense. What can be done? We have no other alternative but to tolerate. Nobody is coming to help us. Our business is so thankless. Because we are trying to create one temple, so many enemies are giving hindrance. You cannot do. Therefore, Sikshava, you have to remain sadhu. You cannot become asadhu. You have to tolerate. What can be done?
See, this is so nice, really. Prabhupada is really bringing this point that we are not doing anything wrong. Our business is so thankless. We are doing the good thing, but for that also so many oppositions. People make fun of us, people ridicule us, but still we have to tolerate all these things. to give Krishna to others, to free of cost. My God, how much more we can. And beyond all these things, if somebody is doing the seva, how much dedicated and committed that person must be. So that is why Krishna always likes preachers. Krishna always likes those who are giving Krishna to others, giving him to others, giving the knowledge of Krishna, knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So it's very important, because this titikshava, if we practice sometime at least, that is a symptom that we are implementing the shastras. So there will be so many situations that will come there. Your patience will be tested, tolerance will be tested. Sometimes you may pass, sometimes you may fail. But as long as we are in the right path, that everything Krishna is directing, then Krishna will take us along in the path. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Okay, let's continue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
See, as such, this Titikshava is discussed, like, when we go out to preach. So there are some authorities, they come up with different things. Like I'm from Mira Road, and we are basically into children preaching. So when we go to schools and all, like recently, now the school is going to keep a pet day. Means all the children are going to get the pet. So, how to communicate, such things. Yeah, actually,
So what are they doing exactly? Pet day means they want them to have pets at home, huh?
No, all the children who have the pet. So
They'll bring
all
them
the
to the
children,
school.
they are going to pet to the school.
Okay.
So how to communicate, like, such things, uh, pets means all sort of pets, cats, dogs, all those things. So, we understand, no, like, dogs and all, it should be always outside the house, not inside the house, all those things. We understand. But when it comes to school, getting the pet into the school means it is so inauspicious. So, how to communicate all these things? Like, of course, we have to tolerate certain things, but these things, how to communicate to them?
What happens to Mataji, that see, there are different things which you will have to tolerate. See, you are facing the situation. It is true that bringing pets, auspicious inauspiciousness is another thing. Is one side. Another side is children will get afraid of. They'll become fearful also. Not every child will be very. Even when they grow big, also they are afraid of dogs and all. So the school should understand that not all the children will be able to appreciate it or will enjoy it. So they should not do these things like that. In some cases, you will have someone who are facing a different situation, that they will be putting loud music or something that you will not be able to tolerate, and they will say we have some police permissions, is that, etc. So things are at different places you will have to tolerate different things. But the base minimum, this thing is same. It's all ignorance of Krishna, ignorance of the of the bhakti mark, whatever. So we may not be able to expect everybody to follow bhakti overnight. Even Prabhupada was saying the same thing, that we have to tolerate people like this Matre and others, right? Envious people. So especially these days, or for quite some time, the schools are influenced by the Christian ways, and they do all these things. So we may not be able to go and tell them over and no, you cannot allow this. Then they will simply say, if you don't like it, you just don't come.
Yes.
Right? They will be very rude. They will be very rude.
Yes.
You take your
Yes.
child away from the school. We have all these things to follow. Who will you go and complain? Now, this is where our situation is, that we are not that many to effect a change in the cultural foundation, or change in the cultural foundation of this world, the civilizational aspect, cultural aspect, etc. So for that only, we need to develop more and more and more say devotee groups.
Mm.
That is where you will have a critical mass with whom you can show this thing that okay, these people are doing something. One side is you express the philosophy, teach the philosophy. Another side is that you should also have a big number. See, for example, say this Sadhguru is there. You must be knowing. He's quite a famous
Yes,
person
yes, yes.
in the media and all that thing, right?
Yes,
What he speaks is 99% nonsense.
yes, yes,
I
yes,
mean, very straightforward. I'm just telling you. He says no need for scriptures. Whatever I speak is what has to be the scripture. All those things. They're very arrogant from that
yes.
point. But then you see there are some points which he makes are very makes a lot of sense to people who have this nationalistic idea or this some basic thing that which people it's not completely outright nonsense. There are some part of it which is required for keeping a nation together and this and that. He has a very interesting way of speaking and capturing people, whatever. They also have a lot of allegations. But then he has a lot of political support also, right? So he's quite famous now. Now, if he commits some mistake or whatever, it is easily brushed aside. Why? Because he has a lot of manpower, money power, wealth power, whatever, right? So in
Yeah.
Kali Yuga, this only speaks, Mataji.
Mm.
When you have a bigger size like revolt or something, then people will listen. If you don't think you have to accept whatever this world is giving us, you may not be able to avoid all the time, but sometimes you will just go with whatever. Okay, this is a minor thing. I will not bother about it. I have better things to do. Whatever. Sometimes you may think like that, or why to get unnecessarily take banga with these people? Let's not do this, etc. Right. But the main point that we should see here is that in such provocative cases, right now, either if you have the strength, you go and tell them that this is not the right thing to do, right? For example, in that school, so many children are studying, their parents are all thing. You can bring them all together, and you can probably create a WhatsApp group or whatever, and then get a critical mass of people to go and talk to them. I'm just taking this example and telling. Or if you have some good number of devotees who are influential devotees, they can go and speak to the people in charge of the school, and that may or may not work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it is not. Or you can go through the legal route, like say that the police or some the whoever is the deciding authority outside. I mean, who can punish this or ban this. That's what you see in many places. You see, there are organizations who are doing this now, like this RSS, VHP, all these non-political parties are there, no? They go and do these things. They are very fond of bringing their Hindu culture and all those things. The Indian culture or whatever. It's partially it will help us, but you don't stop there. That's what we are saying, right? So this is the first thing we have to understand from a like say the practical ground level situation. But if you're right, if you think that you're right, you have followed all the rules properly, you should be at least expressing it to people. You can't just say, oh, not a doormat philosophy. If that person is ignorant, don't waste time with him. But here, if our own children are suffering and all those things, then at the best you go and tell them that, see, this day my child cannot come because he is allergic to cats and dogs. And you are doing this thing. You may not.
See, this is one
Let me just
situation.
complete this one point.
Yeah.
Then I will hear you. Either you stop this, or my child won't come on that day, and you should not put absent for him. She should be considered as present. This is or you arrange a separate room for children who are afraid of there my child should sit. So we have to have a compromising thing with them where it's acceptable for both sides. So that's what I wanted to say. You are saying something, Mataji, in between.
Yeah, Prabhuji, the thing is that in the principle, we are going there to preach, Prabhuji. We are taking Bhagavad Gita class over there. And the principle is very positive. Like, she's good, she's supportive and all. But as such, we have 7 days session over there, 1 hour every day. So in between, she has kept one holiday specifically because she has kept one activity that bringing all children will bring their own pets. So
every week they can
that
bring,
is
huh?
what I want to convince.
No.
I want
Every
to
week
tell
they
her,
bring or only once in a year?
no, it is once in a year. Sort of,
See, Mataji, I will
advertising.
tell you. I will tell you a couple of things. See, now that I understood a little bit more of the situation, if they are very positive about the Bhagavad Gita and all that, we can tell them in a nice way. See, sometimes
How
it
to
can,
tell?
but I will
That
tell
was
you.
that's
No.
what I
I will
was
tell you
asking.
one contentious thing, Mataji. I will tell you one thing, something contentious.
Mm.
Many devotees also have pets. So you you understand? I don't know. I know many devotees, very very nice devotees. They are not. I mean to say they are not immature or they have such nice love for Krishna and everything, and they have dogs or cats. Cats not many, but dogs definitely they have.
Acha.
I have seen, and they just treat them. They treat them as like a child. Of course, they have their own space and all. They will not come and touch the devotional things. That will be very clean. But then they do that. So this is where our challenge will come. Like they will immediately somebody will go and see some devotees having pets. Hey, no. I saw ISKCON devotees with pets. How can you say it is all inauspicious? Then you should tell your devotee first to give it up.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji.
You got the point. So, this world like this, that wherever you go, wherever you step, it will bomb. The bomb will go up.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anything you take.
Yes.
Suppose you go and buy some chips or biscuits from a shop, or going in the train, you have to purchase something on the way to eat. Then they will question you, hey, you people tell everyone else that you should not eat outside. How come you people are eating outside? Then you will end up explaining to them. So, I mean,
Yes, Prabhuji, this is
we
the
have to
catch.
cut the corners, the table, if it is too sharp on the edges, and if where it should fit in, a slab is there, too sharp on the edges, but where it is going to fit, it has a round corner. Then you have to cut the corners, make it round, and then put it inside. If you can't do that, then it will be an incompatible situation. So Prabhupada did that only. In all these situations, he adjusted. Ideally speaking, we should chant 64 rounds, but he says 16 rounds.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So and he knew that while doing the services, we will end up deviating or falling down, etc., etc. But then he said, yes, you will fall down, you will lose taste, you will get deviated, distracted, but you will come back because the power of devotional service is such that. So we should always have that full faith that today that principle may allow once in a year pet thing, whatever. And he or she may read the Bhagavad Gita and eventually it will just go away. You have to always understand one thing, Mataji. This Bhagavad our process, no? This entire Bhakti process I'm talking about. Everything. Deity worship, prasadam, book distribution, everything you take, preaching, everything you take. It is all like a huge river of flood. To the extent we are pure, to that extent it is a very forceful flood of river. So all these small things that are coming here, people are eating outside, or they are eating, sometimes they are eating non-vegetarian, or they are going outside, or they are watching this, watching that. And so many things are there. We also have all these attachment which we are not able to give up for years. Everybody has something or other is there. You may not have attachment to one thing which the other person is having, but you will have some other attachment that you will not be able to give it up. See, so people are very sharp in identifying these things in us. So when we are preaching, we should not dilute it. We should not dilute it, but we should reach to the capacity, to the capacity, to the limits that we are able to.
Yes.
Right? Here, they have allowed us to give Bhagavad Gita. To that extent, we should be satisfied.
Yes.
If they become a little bit more this thing, then we can say that this bringing these pets and all, you can see if it is possible to avoid. If they have good senses in them, they will accept it. You just tell it in a software. No need to be like forceful. No, these are Maya, this, that, etc. Then they will identify. They will identify 10 other Mayas in us before even we complete our statement. So, so we always in this world, Mataji, what I have seen is that first you go with a commonsensical thing, like eating onion garlic also. If you tell them that in Puranas it is said like this, in this, they said they will just ridicule us and go. You tell them that these are all they will agitate you, mode of passion and ignorance. It's all thing in the food. We should not do that, and it's not good for health, etc. It's not good for your heartbeat. Then they will immediately stop it. If they say this is from Puranas, nobody will stop it. You understand? So always I say, our worst case, what I say is, I say I am allergic to these things. That way we can escape. This is not good for my health, like that. Then they will not ask you anymore. So according to the situation, we have to see. If they are submissive to hear, then we can give suggestions. You tell these things. They are able to. They have the listening mood.
Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. And I'm sorry. I think you said you are from Mira Road. So nice to hear you.
Yes.
Krishna willing, may be there for the that retreat is there. So Krishna willing will try to meet you if I come that side, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. You stay very close to the temple, Mira Road temple?
Yeah, I attended your Bhagavatam class. My Dhriti had
Krishna Prabhuji, Dhriti here.
Oh, Dhriti's mother. Okay. Now I know. I was wondering why she was not there. So she's sitting with you to say here.
Exams were there, Prabhuji, actually. In the recent weeks, we had exams. So then afterwards, I joined again here.
Oh, Jai. Very nice to see you here. So maybe, after that retreat, maybe I will come that side. So we'll see Krishna Willing will catch up. You are there in the group also. So it's nice. Good to see you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we proceed.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice question. It really led to some good discussion. I know one devotee couple in US. They are actually Prabhuji is quite a senior devotee. He has worked and served Prabhupada, and he used to be a painter in New Vrindavan temple when Prabhupada was there. So his name is Jimmy Divine and Mataji's name is Terry Divine. So they didn't have they don't have any children. Mataji is a nurse, so they were having a pet dog, nice bulldog kind of a thing, and I think it's a German Shepherd if I'm not wrong. They named him Tilak because it had a natural tilak on his forehead. So he will only eat prasadam. They will not feed him non-vegetarian and all because they cook all nice thing. He has his own den. Now he's not there. He passed away. And then they had one more, I think. So they felt somebody is there in their home. Somebody you need to give love to. So you are not able to. When you have children, that is a different thing. You will be able to do something with them. So sometimes like that devotees also have. I've seen devotees having it, and I really revered their realizations, and they're so beautiful realizations and so nice qualities they have. And this is not for some people, it's not a very bad quality. You can always give prasadam. Maybe that is one living entity whom you are giving prasadam. Like you can, like in our homes and all, we do cows, like that. They do it for like that. So
yeah. Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. We'll go ahead. At the same time, you have to be merciful.
At the same time, you have to be merciful.
See, this is a beautiful thing now. This verse itself, Prabhupada is explaining so nicely. First, you tolerate, but you don't stop with tolerance alone. You have to do karunika also, karunyata. So when you're tolerating, we always despise that person who we are tolerating. But on the other hand, we have to be merciful to him. It's so difficult to understand these two qualities. Why why Kapil Muni is giving these two qualities in the beginning, and then he is going further now. Please, Mataji.
You know what has happened in this place, Hare Krishna land? So much attack by the police, by the municipality, rigged this temple. We could have gone, concluding, what is the use of taking so much botheration? We have hundreds of temples outside India. If people here are not liking, let us go away. No.
So that is an interesting thing that Prabhupada is doing. If people here are not liking, why should I stay here? Let me go away. Right? That seems to be a good argument, isn't it? But Prabhupada is saying, no, don't worry about what they are saying. They don't mean what they don't have any idea what they are saying or what they are thinking. But for us, Titikshava and Karunika both have to be there. And then Suhridam Sarvadehinim also has to come. Because that's a real test. How much Karunika we have, Karunya we have. We have come here to distribute Krishna consciousness. We must tolerate and give this message to the people. Karunika, very merciful in spite of all trouble. How nice Prabhupada is explaining. Huh? Amazing. And so much the devotees also had done for the pressure of Prabhupada. We are sitting here because of all their sacrifices and of all their karunyata. Please continue, Mataji.
We have come to distribute Krishna consciousness. We must tolerate and give this message to the people. Karunika, very merciful, in spite of all trouble. These American boys and girls have come to help me. Not that they have come because they are hungry. No, my mission is you Americans, you chant Hare Krishna. So the people of India will see, oh, Americans are also chanting. Why not we? But unfortunately, such dull brains, that thought is not coming. But still, we have to do it. We have to tolerate. And we have to become Karunika.
Very interesting. How Prabhupada is saying, even after seeing the American chanting, they are so dull that they don't want to chant. Please continue, Mataji. This is a nice one.
Why should you want to be merciful? Para dukkha dukhi.
Kripambudir estam aham prapadye.
A Vaishnava understands. These people are engaged like cats and dogs in sense that
We are talking about cats and dogs, and Prabhupada is saying the same cats and dogs.
they are misguided, and in the next life they will be punished. Let us do something for them. This is Karnika, out of mercy. There is no question of getting something, money. No, we have got sufficient money. But just to become merciful upon these fallen, conditioned souls who are suffering on account of becoming animalistic without Krishna consciousness. The preachers, the sadhus, these are sadhus, Sidikshava, tolerant, never mind. Whatever hindrances and tribulations they are offering to us, never mind, tolerate.
So nice. Prabhupada is explaining these two qualities in connection with, in conjunction with each other. Huh? Tatikshava and Karunika, and goes further. Anyone want to take over?
Yeah, somebody else.
If anybody wants to take over, take over. Devi Mataji, you can read?
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
And Sudra. Sudra means the art is
Suhrida Mataji.
Suhrida means the art is so nice. The Vaishnava is always thinking how a man can be saved from the clutches of Maya. He has no other desire. The Vaishnava is so kind that Suhrida Sarva Dehinam. He is kind not only to the human beings, but to all embodied souls, cats, dogs, trees, plants, insects. A Vaishnava will hesitate to kill even a mosquito. Sarva Dehinam. Not that I shall take the care of my brother only. I am good and my brother is good. No. Sukrida Sarva Dehinam. And
Ajada. So, Prabhupada, we are talking about a wider vision. It's not just my family, my this, my that alone. It's everybody. So, Sarva Dehinam. Dehi here means not just human beings, every living entity. Yes, please continue.
And Ajada Satrava. When one is living in that way as a sadhu, why will others become his enemy? The sadhu does not create enemies, but people become enemies out of their own character. How can a sadhu create enemies? Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityagya Mam Ekam Charanam Raja. And we are simply teaching. I can't see Prabhu.
Yeah, please scroll, Mataji.
Yes, yes. Simply, simply teaching.
Is that Chitra, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have scrolled up.
But oh yeah, it is coming up slowly now. Yes.
My human being, my dear friend, you become a surrendered soul to Krishna. So what is our fault? We don't create any enemy, but they become enemy. Why shall I create enemy? Sukrida Sarvadehinam, but they become out of their own nature.
Mm.
Can I start? Facing challenge.
See, this is very interesting, huh? What is our fault? We don't create any enemy, but they become enemy. But they become out of their own nature, they become enemies. But that we cannot stop. Only thing we can stop is we don't become their enemies. Please continue. Somebody was saying something.
I just thought this Vidya Vinaya Sampanni that applies here. Bhagavad Gita sloka. Vidya Vinaya Sampanni Hastini.
Brahmane Kavi Hastini.
Kavi Hastini. So we have
Samadarshana. Yeah.
Sarvadehinam. So we should see Krishna. I just remember.
Yeah. Same, Mataji. Yeah.
We are in this society, human society, and because we are spreading Krishna consciousness, the envious who are more danger than snakes are putting so many impediments. But we have to tolerate. We have no other alternative. You see, Ajata Satruva Shanta. Be peaceful. What can be done depend on Krishna. These are the ornaments of a sadhu. Dikshava Karunika Sukrida Sarvadehinam. You must know what is sadhu. First, a sadhu is a devotee. And if he is a devotee, then all the symptoms are there. Now, you find a sadhu and associate with him, then your path of liberation will be open. For us, of course, Prabhupada was that sadhu. And by his words and example, he was encouraging us to try to become sadhus as well as.
He trying to encourage by his encouraging words, trying to make us become sadhus. Very nice.
Just before 6 every morning, I would walk upstairs to Prabhupada's room to accompany him on his morning walk. But when another devotee and I went on the day after Rama Egadasi, we were surprised to find the doors, both his quarters on one side and to his daughter's quarters on the other, locked. I was not sure what to do, but I gently knocked on both doors. After a minute or two, Prabhupada's secretary, Harikesa, opened the assistant's door just a little and said that Prabhupada had stayed up all night and completed his translation of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that at the end he had written the most beautiful glorification of his Guru Maharaj, and that he was in an exacting mood and had said that we should celebrate by having a feast.
Okay, so such an amazing thing. So here is recapping that point, so we don't have to go back to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please read, Mother. It's very sweet.
In his concluding verse, Prabhupada has written, today is Sunday, November 10th, 1974, corresponding to the 10th of Kartika, Chaitanya era 488, the 11th day of the dark fortnight, the Rama Egadasi. We have now finished the English translation of the Kṛṣṇa Dāsa Kaviraja Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrita in accordance with the authorized order of His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura Goswami Maharaja, my beloved eternal spiritual master, guide and friend. Prabhupada recounted his first meeting with his Guru Maharaj and receiving his instructions to preach the cult of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English in the Western countries. At first, he had resisted the order because at the time I was a complete nationalist, a follower of Mahatma Gandhi's. I submitted to his divine grace that unless our country were freed from foreign subjugation, no one would hear the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seriously. But at last, I was defeated and convinced that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message is the only panacea for suffering humanity. It was also convinced that the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was then in the hands of a very expert devotee, and that surely the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would spread all over the world. I could not, however, immediately take up his instructions to preach but I took his words very seriously and was always thinking of how to execute his order, although I was quite unfit to do so. When in 1950 Prabhupada has retired from his family life and then taken sannyasa, he had finally been, in his own words, completely ready to discharge the order of my spiritual master. By the mercy of his divine grace, I was able to come to New York on September 17, 1965. Since then, I have translated many books, including Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya as summary, and many others. In the meantime, I was induced to translate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta's favorite book. I think that he is always seeing my activities and guiding me within my heart by his words. As it said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adika Vaye.
Adika Vaye.
Adika Vaye. Spiritual inspiration comes from within the heart, wherein the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature is always sitting with all his devotees and associates. It is my wish that devotees of Lord Chaitanya all over the world enjoy this translation, and I am glad to express my gratitude to the learned men in the Western countries who are so pleased with my work that they are ordering in advance all my books that will be published in the future. On this occasion, therefore, I request my disciples who are determined to help me in this work to continue their cooperation fully, so that philosophers, scholars, regionalists, and people in general all over the world will benefit by reading our transcendental literatures.
Amazing, huh? This is all written in Chaitanya Charitamrita concluding words, and Maharaj is just taking off, lifting it and putting it here for our ease of access. Something is very interesting. I just when I read this point, I request my disciples who are determined to help me in this work to continue their cooperation fully, so that all these people in general all over the world benefit by reading. See, this is very interesting because this cooperation that he's talking about is the reason for the success of our movement so far. Whatever issues or challenges that might have been there, at the end of the day, everybody is focused on one point. What is that cooperation? That I am doing it for Prabhupada's, to push Prabhupada's message across all over the world, to please my Guru Maharaj, to assist my Guru Maharaj in his service to Prabhupada, and to assist Prabhupada in his service to his Guru and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So even though there are shortcomings, imperfections, so many other factors, external factors affecting our consciousness and our activities, etc., but still nobody could stop the growth of this movement. And while it is growing, while I would say honestly that there are some areas where some dilution is happening, but I would say we are still not in that danger zone. I would say because of the purity of the message. Five minutes. So this cooperation is a very, very crucial thing in our day-to-day activities also. Cooperation means something you may not like, some person, like we are talking about this pet talks also, we are talking about it for a while. Even among devotees also, there may be some things people will have different viewpoints on the same thing. You may have to cooperate. See, just now we were completing our Bhakta Prahlad school in our Bhakta Prahlad classes, some annual day programs in the temple. Devotees, children were all doing some different dramas and nice things they were doing. But what happened? There was a communication gap between the temple and the coordinators in the BPS. Two teams had come along with us, and when we had to do it, so they changed the timing and it was not communicated to us. And so they were pushing us to finish soon. All the children are dressed up and they are doing halfway drama. The devotee was asking us to stop. I had to explain to him that let's adjust a thing here. We were supposed to give a little bit of explanation and then the certificates and gifts and all those things, but we did it in a sideline. We didn't do it in front of everybody. So this is how we should cooperate. Just an example, it just came to my mind. Okay, there are some challenges there, though we are not at fault. There are some challenges there. So let's just stop the whole thing and continue in a way so that so it's all smooth, you know. That is where the cooperation matters. You may not be very satisfied with the situation there. You may not be very pleased with what happened or whatever. I was expecting something else, but something else. No, leave it alone. It's okay. In the larger picture, it doesn't matter. They got the certificate, that's good enough for the children. So this is something which which this is one thing that I just thought. There are sometimes time problems, something else is coming, yours is running late. You'll have to adjust a few things here and there. No, we cannot say that, no, I have to tell all the things and then only I will end the lecture, then people will get agitated. Right? This Kali Yuga, at the end of the day, we have to understand. So this cooperation is something which is very, very important because Prabhupada is saying cooperate fully. So when we are cooperating, even though it is unpalatable for us, it is actually pleasing Krishna and Prabhupada. That is the reason we are doing it. So we have to do certain things. Sometimes you may tell, sometimes you may adjust, whatever. But at the end of the day, it should not linger in your mind. That's the whole idea. You see, when we do something, it may be right, it may be wrong. It may be right according to you, but it may be wrong according to the other person. Right? We may not put our legs in their shoes. That is always the challenge. And we don't dig into our own heels also. But the thing is, whatever has happened, it's happened. You just accept it and just move on. Our main aim is to continue our purification process. Because once the incident happens and things, then you may be found fault with or whatever. Even if you are not faulty, they may blame you as faulty. But that's it, done and dusted. You can't go, there's no point going back and telling that year you said this year you said this. It's waste of time. That's why Shastras and all these things are not coming into our heads and hearts. So this point I really liked when Prabhupada says this, and continue the cooperation fully, then everybody will be benefited. Right? Okay. What I was thinking is that we'll go for 2 more paragraphs. After that, the scene changes. Shall anyone else want to take over? Yes, Shivam Prabhu.
Yes, Babu. So,
Srila
Srila Prabhupada
Prabhupada was like the grandfather,
Prabhupada was like a grandfather to the children of Juhu, affectionate and tolerant. A couple of days after he completed his translation on Diwali, there were fireworks, and both literal and figurative at Hare Krishna
Literal and
land.
figurative, because completing Chaitanya Charitamrita is such a humongous task, and means we are so in Chennai also, when the Tamil translation was completed, we had a huge festival with all the different scholars who came. They are all from Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya. Some are even like famous what do you call this hosts, news this thing hosts in the TV channels, and then politicians, they all came, and that day we couldn't believe because hall was full and all these people are there. They did a very formal, very professional launch of the Tamil translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita about 5-6 years ago. But everybody who came, they glorified Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada like anything that we couldn't believe our own ears. Because in South, you know, in the North, it may not be so much, but in the South, these people are like very much like deadly enemies. You don't have to go outside to find enemies. Even within the Sampradayas, there will be enemies. Sri Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, all of them will have their own things and they will not get along from a philosophical perspective, this, that, and they will do so much debate and argument, whatever. But on that day, I saw at least 5-6 famous, well-known, they were there. Famous, well-known scholarly devotees, Vaishnava acharyas, they were there. They came and glorified Prabhupada and Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, like unlimitedly they are glorifying. So it's an amazing thing that happened. So I just wanted to say that when things are done for a good cause, it's really a nice thing. So please continue.
At Hare Krishna land, as Srimati Warrior recalled.
Smriti Warrior.
Sorry.
She was a young girl when Prabhupada was there. She was a young girl when Prabhupada was there, but now she was grown up as a nice devotee. Please continue.
Recalled on Diwali evening, Mother Kanta was in the women's ashram above our flat, and we were outside setting off fireworks. It was around 9, and I guess she wanted to rest, but we weren't finished playing. So she started throwing buckets of water down on us. My brother and I marched up to Srila Prabhupada's room. Cha, Cha, Chaitya Guru, Chaitya Guru caught us and said, "You can't go in there. He is resting." We must have made a lot of noise because Prabhupada called, "Let them in." My brother went in and pleaded that we wanted to do fireworks, but Prabhupada said, "No, it's too noisy." So my brother gave up and walked out. But I, the youngest, stood there and said, "But it's Diwali. We have got to break some firecrackers." Then Prabhupada said, "All right, until 10. But after that, no more."
This restriction Prabhupada has told long time, but of course it is for good cause, not for all these crazy reasons like pollution, this, that, and okay. Please continue.
Yeah. So we got permission and broke firecrackers. And the next morning, Mother Kanta came with a plate of Mahaprasad and apologized for throwing water on us. Being so close to Srila Prabhupada at Hare Krishna land, we got to associate with him in different light. Years later, Kanta Dasi remembered throwing water on the warriors
So
was probably
this is all done by Smriti Warrior. She's a young girl that time. See, so this is not Giriraj Maharaj. What she is referring is that her own recollection. Yes.
probably the worst thing the worst thing I ever did to the neighbors there, and they were so nice. I threw a bucket or two, but I'm kind of a follower. I'm not an instigator. All the women were complaining because we had to get up early and everybody was tired and grouchy. I don't even think I threw the first bucket, and but I did throw one or two. I felt really bad about that the next day because I'm all for those kinds of celebrations, especially when you have kids and grandkids. I probably participate now, but we were grouchy ladies that time.
So this is nice and sweet because many times we may not understand people at that time, but later when we repent for it, Krishna always has a space for us. So that is always good. If not at that moment, at least later time you repent. It's a good thing. It always helps in our devotional service. But you have to genuinely repent. And that repentance should not stop. I mean, anytime even now you can't ask Kanta Mataji, she will again say repent for it. That repentance will always stay in our heart. Not that it will just go away. We try to find alternate ways and means to overcome that because it is too humbling for us. We cannot be humble all the time. See, sometimes somebody finds a fault in you. I mean, points out something in you that why don't you just fix this? Then people will say, "Oh, yes, okay, I'm sorry," and all that. But the next day they come and tell, they say, "Already you told me. Why you are telling again?" Right? That is a symptom that we are not repenting. On our own, if we repent, Krishna himself will not allow that other person to come and speak. And even if he speaks, then we will not take it badly. I say, already I am repenting. So he is just telling the same thing. So nice.
Yes.
So stop here. Thank you so much, Prabhu Mataji, and really appreciate your time and nice participation and eagerness. So we'll continue Krishna willing the coming week. There are a couple of holidays coming, so we'll discuss in the group if anybody would like to do some additional sessions on those holidays, and then we will take it for. Okay then, Hare Krishna, Rantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavati ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyascha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Nandakoti Vaishnavati ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhu Mataji.